In a soft-lit dining room, candlelight flickered, casting shadows on an empty chair across from Dr. Victoria Roberts. The clock ticked past 8, each second deepening the ache in her heart. She had planned a special evening to share life-changing news with her husband, Tunde Roberts, but he was nowhere to be found. In her study, Victoria sat, battered in the gentle glow of a lamp, her hand resting on a small pregnancy test strip. 2 pink lines stared back at her, a quiet promise of new life. A faint smile crossed her lips as she imagined telling Tunde. She had reserved their favorite tables, set the dining room with care, and lit candles to mark the occasion. By 8:05 p.m., the chair remained empty. Victoria called Tunde once, and then twice, but he didn't answer. On the 4th ring, his voice cut through the speaker, sharp and dismissive. "I'm busy, Victoria. Stop disturbing me. I'll call you when I'm free, okay?" But before she could respond, the line went dead. Moments later, Victoria's phone rang again. This time, it was the hospital. A woman was in a critical condition, bleeding heavily from a suspected hemorrhage. As the only senior surgeon available, Victoria was needed immediately. She rushed through the hospital's sterile corridors, the bars of fluorescent lights overhead matching the urgency in her pulse. Nurses shouted updates as they guided her to the operating theater. When Victoria stepped inside, her heart skipped. On the bed lay a pale, frightened pregnant woman named Vivian. Beside her, holding her hand, stood Tunde. The patient's voice trembled as she pleaded, "Please, save our baby." And Tunde echoed, "Please, save my wife." Victoria's chest tightened, but her surgical mask concealed her shock. She said nothing, her hands moving with practiced precision. The surgery was a success. Still masked, Victoria stepped out to update the husband. "The procedure went well, sir," she said calmly before walking away. Hours later, Tunde entered Vivian's room, where Victoria, now unmasked and holding the patient's file, stood waiting. Tunde froze. "What are you doing here?" he stammered, then added, "She's just a colleague's wife. Oh, I was only helping." Vivian's eyes narrowed. "Are you here to kill my baby because you can't have one?" she spat. Her words echoed by Ruth, Tunde's mother, who sneered at Victoria's childlessness. Tunde faced Victoria and said, "Look, Victoria, you are barren. You can't have children, and I am tired of waiting. So yes, Vivian's child is mine." Victoria walked towards Tunde and said, 5 years. 5 good years. Are you going to throw away our married and love just like that?" Tunde looked away and said, "Well, all that matters right now to me is my child. My child that Vivian is carrying. And not any 5 years of barrenness and emptiness." Tunde asked her to leave, but Victoria stood her ground. She said, "If I wasn't here, she'd be dead." As she turned to leave, Ruth stepped forward, raising her hand to slap her. Victoria blocked the blow. Tunde grabbed her arm, his voice cold. "Apologize to my mother now." Victoria refused. Vivian, with a chilling smile, handed Tunde a surgical scissors. "Use it. Teach her a lesson." In a flash of rage, Tunde jabbled his scissors through Victoria's hand, and blood welled instantly. Soon after, as Vivian tried to slap Victoria, She lost her balance and fell, clutching her abdomen in pain. Tunde rushed to her side, panic in his eyes. A nurse walked in and noticed Victoria's bleeding hands and gasped, "Dr. Roberts, you can't operate like this." Tunde was so surprised. "What did you just say?" "Dr. Victoria is the only guest expert for today's consultation. She performed the surgery today," the nurse said. "You are kidding me, right? There has to be another doctor. There's no way I'm letting Victoria touch my wife," Tunde said. The nurse insisted that Dr. Victoria Roberts' hands be treated, but Tunde backed. "It's just a small cut," when he heard that Victoria was the only consultant for that day. "Save her and the baby first. It's only a scratch." Victoria shook her head. "No, I will not." She faced the nurse and told the nurse, "Get Dr. Chooks." Dr. Chooks arrived, but after examining the case, he hesitated. "There's little I can do. Dr. Roberts is the best, but I'll try." He attempted the procedure, but soon stepped out, saying only Dr. Roberts can save them. The baby is under severe stress. Tunde turned to Victoria. Desperation etched on his face. "Victoria, please save Vivian and my baby. Save them as a doctor." The hospital director's voice rang out over the intercom. "Attention, final year students. Prepare for a live stream from Theatre 2, led by Dr. Roberts. This is strictly for academic purposes." Tunde pulled Victoria aside, his voice menacing. "If you don't do this surgery, I'll cut you again." The live stream began. Students worldwide began to join. Director Hassan, seeing Victoria's hand, summoned a junior doctor with a consent form for Tunde to sign. Cameras across the hospital broadcasted the drama live. Right there on camera, Tunde backed. "Will you operate or not?" "I will not," Victoria said firmly. Ruth stormed forward and slapped her. "Barren woman, you want to kill my grandchild, Abby?" Victoria glared, her voice steady. "You cheated, stabbed my hand, and now you demand I save your mistress, even after saving her once?" "Yes," Tunde snapped. "Because that's my hair Vivian is carrying." Then Tunde leaned closer. "If you don't do the surgery now, I'll call your sick father right now and tell him I'm divorcing you." You know his heart can't take it. When students saw the drama live, they began to share the link. The link spread like wildfire. Millions will now watch it, including Tunde's office colleagues. The director, furious, insisted Victoria was unfit to operate. But when Tunde pushed back, the director produced a liability waiver, saying if anything happens, Dr. Roberts will not be held responsible. He was asked to sign, and Tunde signed. Victoria stepped into the theater, joined by Dr. Chooks. Her bandaged hand trembled as she gripped the scalpel, pain radiating up her arm. "I can't let my father down," she thought. "No, not now. His health is not strong enough to take it." By the time she began, over 50 million viewers had tuned in. Outrage at Tunde's cruelty filled the chat rooms and comments. The surgery was successful. Dr. Chooks stepped out proudly. "Dr. Victoria was incredible. She saved the baby," he said to Tunde. But Tunde went to meet Victoria, hissed at her and said to her, "If anything happens later, I'll pin it all on you. I'll say that you killed the baby intentionally." He didn't realize that every word had been captured on the live stream. Afterward, broken and drained, Victoria left for her parents' home. Tunde took Vivian to her own house. But a day later, she fell, triggering complications that led to the loss of the baby due to stress. Vivian returned to the hospital for treatment, then went live online, tears streaming down her face. "Dr. Victoria Roberts killed my baby on purpose. She's jealous because Tunde loves me. her license should be revoked. Her stream was met with laughing emojis, clown faces, and hashtags like Vivian lies trending worldwide. Viewers mocked her, and her story crumbled in real time. Tunde took her to Victoria's house after treatment. Tunde brought Vivian to the Roberts Grand duplex, unaware that Lara, Victoria's close friend and a social media influencer, was live on Instagram, and millions joined her live to follow up on the story. Vivian began throwing Victoria's belongings outside. Victoria confronted them, saying, "Leave my house." Tunde retorted, "It's my house too." Victoria then answered him, "Is this really your house?" Tunde insisted, "Well, we're still legally married, so it's still my house. And I've been living here for a long time, so it's my house." As Victoria arrived with Lara, who was still live on Instagram, the confrontation escalated. Tunde and Vivian threatened to throw Victoria out and falsely accused her of killing her baby. Lara, with her massive online followers, amplified the story to millions. They insulted Victoria, and Lara remarked loudly, "Someone hasn't been online." Tunde frowned. What does she mean? Tunde picked his phone to check, only to find revealing trending videos of the hospital incident flooding the internet. He was shocked. A comment on Lara's live stream claimed someone else was the baby's father. Tunde confronted Vivian here and there, who initially denied it, but then confessed. "Fine, it was his. Are you happy now?" The internet erupted. Minutes later, Victoria's father arrived. At the same moment, Tunde received an email confirming his dismissal from work. It was revealed that Victoria had owned the house long before their marriage. Accounts were frozen, cars reclaimed, and the house was locked. Vivian called the police to have Victoria removed, but instead, officers arrested Tunde for assault and reckless endangerment. Vivian was also escorted away. The internet overflowed with praise for Victoria. As Tunde was led away, Victoria whispered softly, "That Tuesday night, I was going to tell you I was pregnant." Tunde's knees buckled, but like his marriage, career, and pride, the child was already gone. The stress of those days had caused Victoria her pregnancy. The moral lesson? Betrayal destroys, but truth always finds light. Let us never betray those who trust us, for in the end, lies collapse and only integrity endures. Please drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more stories of truth and triumph. Bye-bye.